Hello and welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Sonny. Today we have yet another installation into our Mexican series with the salsa we all know and love, Pico de Gallo. There's also some really great knife techniques in this one. We want to make everything really nice and small for a Pico de Gallo, especially the onions and the jalapeno, just to keep every bite not so harsh. So stay tuned for an awesome episode, guys. So first of all, which tomato do we use? Dude, just drop the thing already! God damn, thank you. Roma tomatoes. So Roma tomatoes have a wonderful color, they're cheap and they're easy to slice up, and they just seem to be the perfect tomato for a Pico de Gallo. So the first step is going to be to slice these babies up, and I'm going to show you how I do it. So a lot of people will tell you to core the tomato first, but I'm going to show you how I do it. I just think it's a little bit more efficient. So you want to go straight through the middle, quarter turn, cut again, so now we have it into quarters, right? So this is sort of the 2-in-1 technique in that we are going to slice out the seeds, and at the same time we cut through the core right here, right? So we get it out. Again, so I'm using my knife to push down this end, and I'm also pushing down on this end with my fingers. And then keeping my knife flat, I'm just running through it and getting out that little core. Also, by the way, you can save these seeds that you're getting out. Like if you are braising some kind of Mexican chicken, something like that, and you want to add that into your sauce, it's only going to do it a lot of good. Okay, now that you've seeded all your tomatoes, let me show you a few ways you could chop it up. So you can do the normal choppy like this into thirds, switch sideways, and then on a slight bias. The little diamond effect does look nice. Also, on a little more advanced technique, if you put the tip of your knife already on the board, and using your knuckle, just guide it through, you can make these nice little slices. And this works great for a lot of different nightshades. Like for bell peppers, for instance. You know, when you end up with that skin, it's always just holding together. This makes sure you always cut through the skin, right? You'll never get those little accordion pieces. Just repeat that process with all of your tomatoes. And if this is our first time meeting, my name is Sonny Harrell, and I've spent the last 15 years working in more than a dozen professional kitchens all around the world. And here on this channel, I share all the tips, the tricks, the skills, the methods, the recipes, the techniques. So if you'd like to learn from a professional chef such as myself, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. So before we build this Pico de Gallo, I'm going to show you something I do that I think really makes it a little bit better. And that's to lay out all your tomatoes on your board after you've sliced them and removed the seeds, and just season it now with some kosher salt, right? Up high, let it rain. And so by doing this, every single bite of tomato is going to have that seasoning and salt just permeated into it, which just makes the overall experience that much better. Just add your tomatoes into a large bowl, big enough for you to mix everything together in. So we're going to dice some red onion very small for the Pico de Gallo. You could use white. I like red for the color, but that is personal preference. Nice sharp knife, and we're going to slice across very thin. Tuck you back in. Once through the middle. If this onion was a lot bigger, I might do one more at the top, but no need. And just slice. So we end up with some beautiful prep. Now we're going to slice some jalapeno. Just take the top, very bottom, straight in half. Now if you want more spice, you could leave in some of this whitened seeds because that's where a lot of the heat is. But I'm going to take my little spoon. Just be careful that when you're scraping this, your face is not too close because it will kind of spray. You could do this with a knife too, but this works really well. I like to flip it over and just slightly smash it a little bit, so when you flip it back, it's going to be easier to slice, right? And you want to go real small again. So very thin julienne. Turn it sideways. And if you want to go diamonds, you could do an angle like this. Make that jalapeno as small as you can. It's going to make the overall experience quite a lot better. So we've got a beautiful little dice there on our jalapeno. I'm going to add it to the bowl. You know, whenever you're working with chilies, always clean your board, clean your hands, clean everything really well. I made the mistake once when I was 17. I was in charge of the kitchen of a big brewing company. I don't know why they let me have that job. I was placing like $2,000 orders every week. It was just like everyone from my high school was running a restaurant. It didn't work out at all. But I'll never forget, I used some chili and then I went to the bathroom. I didn't wash my hands and just don't make that mistake. Dear God, do not make that mistake. So wash your hands, wash your board really well. So the last thing we're gonna do before we add the lime juice and mix this all up is to add some cilantro. And you know, these stalks on the bottom are awesome. You just need to take off. Depending on how old the plant itself was, you'll feel how woody it is. But you wanna take off some of that. Bunch this up. You can always use the back of your knife to hold things in place as you gather it with your fingers. And then just slice very thinly, much in the same way we would do chives or something like that. I love the way it looks, and the stalks have a really nice texture as well. And then as I get up to the leaves, I'm rolling it again against the back of my knife. You always want to try to keep herbs compressed, because they're going to slice much cleaner if you do. And there's your cilantro. So now we're going to be adding our lime. The recipe will be at the bottom of the description box beneath this video for those who want to make it. This is not traditional, you know, don't freak out in the comments. I like to have a little bit of olive oil in there for the shine and just to cut through all the acidic elements. But you don't need to do this, of course not. Just a pinch more salt going in. Now it's mixing time. So give it a really good mix. The word fresh, refreshing, light, zingy, all those words come to mind, man. It really is something to cool you off. Now I've got this little mortar and pestle bowl, and if you're having a party and you have one of these bowls, it can be a really good idea to serve the pico de gallo in this bowl. Just has a very nice look to it. Looks amazing, right? Let me give it a taste. Summer's still here, baby. If you are someone who buys store-bought salsa, just make this once and your life will forever be changed, I guarantee it. There is no comparison to any store-bought salsa with this. If you have to peel a piece of plastic off your salsa, no. Of course, that is a great companion to any Mexican meal. Chips and salsa party, you gotta make pico de gallo. Well, that is it for today, my friend. I hope you got some value from this content right here. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please leave it a like, and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time.